Jordan. I am here at the Solano Community College Fairfield campus TV studio. I am joined by Sahil and Mayana, and today we will be talking about conspiracy theories, more specifically the reptilian, the satanic panic, and the QAnon conspiracy theories. Now, to start out, we will be talking about the reptilian conspiracy theory. And so the reptilian conspiracy theory is a modern myth that claims that the world is ran by a shape-shifting race of lizard people. Now now the notion of blood-sucking lizard people kind of comes from anti-immigrant and anti-Semitic roots and rhetoric. It originates from the modern version, though, originates from a guy named David Icke, who was a sports broadcaster turned conspiracy theorists, believed in the idea of a genetically modified race of human-reptile hybrids. The race known as the Babylonian Brotherhood, or Illuminati, has a goal to keep humans in constant fear so that they can feed off of human negative energy. So, I mean,
it's a lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack, yeah. Human negative energy, it just kind of sounds like something from like a
fantasy world.
Yeah, fantasy world, or like I was thinking like an anime,
Yeah.
Right, like the anime Jujutsu Kaisen has things to do with like negative and positive energy, stuff like that, but nobody really, but it's like more like cursed spirits rather than aliens. So David Icke, right, do we think this guy is like what is he doing, like bullshitting us, or does he believe in it? Like,
I would say, I feel like he believed it at first, but then somewhere, like, I don't know how to explain.
He saw the money rolling in.
Yeah, he saw the money rolling in.
Yeah.
He just kept it going.
Yeah.
I mean, he made so many books for it, right?
He made like 20-something books on it.
Yeah.
He was a sports broadcaster for the BBC, and then he turned into this like crazy crackpot. I think he was always kind of like this kind of crazy conspiracy theorist type person, but I think with the but obviously now though he's kind of has his head up his own ass and he's sniffing his farts, so makes it very he probably believes it even more now, right? So according to this poll by Public Policy Polling, it was conducted on April 2nd, 2013, so it's a bit old, but it does claim that 4% of about 12 million Americans believe in this conspiracy theory.
They surveyed 12 million Americans?
12 million Americans specifically, yes.
Okay, so wow, that's a lot of Americans.
That
to believe in this nonsense.
That is a lot of Americans. That's roughly, it's like what, 4%, I bet. Yeah, I mean, the idea of like reptiles, some of the people that are implicated in this too, like they're believed to be these shape-shifting lizard people, are people like Barack Obama, Queen Elizabeth, and even celebrities like
Lindsay Lohan, right?
No, not Lindsay Lohan. Well, maybe Lindsay Lohan, right? I mean, like any celebrity you can think of, it's kind of like there's probably a good chance they're implicated somehow, right?
Yeah.
I think Ray Liotta and Al Pacino were also so implicated too as being lizard people.
Pretty political. I mean, like if you look at it like politically, it's a lot of Democrats,
right,
that are just being attacked for this.
Yeah, what we'll see with these what we'll see with these conspiracy theories is that they are, for the most part, somewhat politically charged too, and they're typically more far-right conspiracy theories too, which is interesting to see, because I don't know how many like far left or like super or like progressive conspiracy theories are like I mean, some of these probably blend in together too, with more like, I guess, populist type people, right? But yeah, so some of the cases that came from this is that in 2019, a QAnon supporter killed his brother because he believed that he was one of these shape-shifting lizard people too, which is crazy to think about too, because it's your own brother.
Yeah, family.
Like, well, yeah, but what made him think that too? Like, unless you're like schizophrenic and you're like actually seeing lizard people,
Yeah.
I don't see how you would believe something like that.
So, I don't know.
That's, I mean, that's probably what it is, a lot of mental illness. And then the people that are spouting these theories, like, you don't see them doing these crazy outlandish things. And, like, I feel like they feed off of the fact that a lot of people are mentally ill and willing to buy into whatever they're saying. And then, like, they use it for their whatever they want to get. They can't.
It's also another reason why I think it's like BS too, because you never see the people that like spread these conspiracy theories. They're never like they're never really like doing anything crazy, right? Like, well, it's either they're crazy or they're lying,
Yeah.
right? But like you never see that. You kind of see that crazy side when they're presenting the theories, but like but that's more or less to kind of like I guess how would I say, like kind of like that's just like what people that follow them believe in, right? They're just kind of feeding into that rather than like, oh, they have like a genuine belief in this theory
Yeah.
too.
I think it's kind of interesting that a lot of these theories are like coming from the right side, because a lot of the rights leaders, I feel like they're not believing in these theories, but they definitely like fuel them and they allow their constituents to believe in that, because like it gets them what they want. Like they're using it to their advantage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. I think 9 times out of 10 politicians don't actually believe in a lot of the things that they say, especially if they're spouting conspiracy theories. And in 2020 though, too, I've actually remembered this one. To Anthony Quinn Warner detonated an RV bomb in downtown Nashville. Anthony was also a believer in the reptilian people conspiracy. I don't. When I was reading the case, though, I don't think he actually bombed the downtown because of reptile people. I think he was just kind of like some like domestic terrorist. He's like kind of like I'm just gonna make a big show out of things and just, I guess, bomb downtown Nashville. I don't know if that's how it specifically went down.
Did those not theorists, like those people that believed it, did they paint him as a hero?
No, he was just,
or he just did it on his
I mean,
own.
I don't painting him as a hero is that's insane.
That
because
is very insane.
That's true. I think even people that believe in these conspiracy theories, when like at least more normal people that believe in the conspiracy theories, I think when like something bad like that happens, they're more likely to kind of like, I don't think they're going to cheer him on, because obviously like killing people and destroying property and committing acts of like terrorism is really bad. I don't think most people would agree with that either. They'll either try to like kind of like obfuscate or like ignore or like kind of try and find a way around like not having to I guess confront the cases like that. Right. What's also interesting about the reptilian people conspiracy theory too is that the reptilian people can travel into like the fourth and fifth dimensions, what I was reading, which is which is conveniently an explanation that is typically given for why we've never seen any like video footage of them, or like actual video footage that isn't like AI generated or edited heavily too. Yeah, it's a way they can like they can always they're always going to have like a reason for why this conspiracy theory is true, right? It's because that they can do X or Y, Z, right? My theory is true because the reason, right? And if you give a reason for why it's false, they'll say, oh, well, that actually plays into the conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah.
So if you say like with the cell phone example, if there's no if there are reptilian people, there'd be like actual raw video footage of them, and too. But they'll say, well, no, because they can travel into the fourth dimension. So actually, you're wrong. Yeah,
exactly.
you can't see them. That's what yeah, so I don't know how they travel into the fourth dimension. I guess it's magic, but yeah. So I guess before we move on to the next topic, is there anything else any last words on the topic? I guess.
Like, I got a question really. Like, why do people believe reptilians more than just like corrupt government people? Because it's more into government.
I guess so.
Focuses on.
So I guess so, but I think if you can, I think, so honestly, I think that there's like a dehumanization aspect to it too, right? Because when you dehumanize something, you can kind of like, you can kind of like justify like acts of violence, right?
Oh, okay.
Right, right. So like these are lizard people, or these are dangerous, or like lizard people. Like the way to dehumanize them or make it seem like more dangerous than it actually is, right? And this is why we see like certain cases, like because you can kind of justify it, right? You're like you can kind of like a bear attacking you in the woods type situation. You can justify murdering it because it's a bear that's trying to kill you. You, or in this case, a lizard or some like inhuman alien monster that's trying to murder you. It's that's also part of the reason why I would say it has roots in anti-Semitism and anti-immigrant too.
I don't see him as human.
Yeah, there's also a couple of writers who I heard. Howard E. Lee, I think, is one of the writers. And then H.P. Lovecraft too. These were like famous like horror writers. I'm sure you've heard of H.P. Lovecraft. I don't know if you've heard of Howard E. Lee, but they kind of like created the lizard people kind of like the monster, shape-shifting monster idea, and it kind of grew more prevalent, and obviously David Icke is the one who blew it up into mainstream popularity. All right, so again, any final questions, thoughts, feelings, opinions? No? Okay, so moving on, the next topic will be the Satanic Panic. Now, the Satanic Panic was a moral panic surrounding around 12,000 unsubstantiated cases of satanic ritual abuse primarily being done on children. And so the conspiracy claims that a cult of wealthy elites are abducting and or breeding children for human sacrifice or pornography and prostitution. Too. It began during the rise of rock and roll music and D&D in the 80s and 90s, which did have themes, kind of like satanic kind of sort of themes to them too. It's very popular among religious conservative type people too. It kind of came about as women were entering the workforce due to the women's rights movement and the country struggling with a recession at the time. And it became more suitable for daycares, right? Daycares became more of a need for children, for people to send their children off to school. And the society also there's also a lot of cases of people like being sexually abused in their childhood, but too. So adults were like coming out about like sexual abuse, stuff like that. That too.
I also heard like some people were making up murder charges or anything.
Yeah.
Which is false. Like I seen like a podcast, like another video clip of the cops saying that they were getting calls about murders that happened at some places, but it never did. And then like I guess that people believe that like probably like hundreds to thousands of murders happened in their city, but it just never happened. Statistically, it's not even possible where they were at.
Right. Yeah, and and also like a book that popularized this this kind of phenomenon, right? Is a book by a Canadian psychologist and his former patient called Michelle Remembers, and it recounts memories of the patient's experience with child abuse at the hands of Satanists. And so these claims were quickly criticized because they were unsubstantiated. There was nobody like corroborating the patient's story at all. There's no like physical evidence of anything happening in it. But what it did do though is it kind of gave people like a villain, which would like be daycare centers and such.
With the book, from what I read, his patient Michelle, she sought him out to seek treatment for a miscarriage, and like in his care she went under memory recovery theory, which has been like disproven. And I think it's interesting, like she went to him seeking help, and like it feels like he pretty much took advantage of her in a time of need, because obviously she needed help. Like she was going to a psychiatrist mentally, so I think it's kind of safe to assume he took advantage of her.
It actually does sound like the psychologist did take advantage of her. I mean, she published a book, and it was obviously quite popular. So the psychologist profited easily millions of dollars from this too. I don't know if the patient got any of the money. I would assume she did easily, but I think with what Mayana said, I would agree that the psychologist was absolutely taking advantage of not only his position as a psychologist, but also of his patient as well, to kind of promote this idea of satanic rituals happening in schools. Too. A very famous case is the McMartin case, which happened in 1983. A woman in Manhattan Beach, California, accused an employer at her son's preschool of abusing him. This led to around 5 people being charged with crimes, but they were eventually dropped due to weak evidence. It became a national spectacle, and prosecutors pursued the case despite doubts of the accuser's story. Many fantastical claims were thrown around about goat men, bloody animal sacrifices, and school employees lying, committing acts of violence with no physical traces. The case costed taxpayers millions of dollars with no criminal convictions ever occurring. And yeah,
it was a waste of time, really.
It was
waste of resources.
It was a massive waste of time too. From what I was reading, the way that the detectives were actually were interviewing these kids about this supposed about these abuse or something like that, was that they were kind of like asking them leading questions that led to the children actually committing making false accusations toward people too, and that's probably where these five charges came from these individuals, is because of the false accusations that the children were making too.
I read about another case like that. I think it was in Saskatchewan. It's called the Martinsville. It's in Martinsville. There was a daycare, and they were accused of hosting a Satan worshiping cult in the basement of their daycare, and it actually, from what I remember reading, it led to 9 people actually being charged, even though there was no evidence to prove these theories. And I think that's what makes this conspiracy theory so dangerous, because it had authorities buying into it and feeding into it, the FBI and police. They were creating these task force with the sole purpose of finding these crimes and charging them.
Yeah, and apparently the way a lot of these a lot of sociologists and also some of these FBI guys who were also being given the book Michelle Remembers and told to kind of read it, and that's kind of how they were being informed on how to go this type of situation too, which obviously, with obviously how controversial the book being and stuff like that, and the claims most likely being false are it obviously did not help in kind of just did not help, just kind of exacerbate the situation too, which is probably why this book was like so destructive to people.
Didn't they like make a movie with that book? Like based off the book?
Yeah. I think I heard something about it.
Yeah.
Movie. I don't remember if it was like ever.
It wasn't good. That's what I heard.
Probably
but it
wasn't
did
good.
feature Tom Hanks, and it was like kind of a rising star at the time. So that kind of also burned more fuel on the flame.
Yeah, and then there were also other psychologists at the time too who were interviewing patients who were interviewing like adult patients who went through child sexual abuse too. And these patients were like, when they were recalling memories, they were recalling scenes from like movies like The Exorcist or like The Omen, and you know, this kind of gave the psychologist like an idea of like, okay, these guys are probably bullshitting me, right?
Yeah.
Like this is
from The Exorcist. That's nuts.
Also, funny thing, how many do you guys have you guys seen South Park? Watched South Park?
No.
No.
I've seen clips.
Okay. There was a this is just like a funny thing that just came to mind, right? So in one of the newer episodes of the last season that came out, it was about Labubus, right? You guys have probably heard of those.
Yeah.
And so the reason, and so like all the girls were like fawning over getting like Labubus and stuff like that too, so they can commit satanic rituals with them. They were like putting the Labubus like in the middle of like a pentagram, and they were cutting the necks of chickens, and they were doing satanic rituals. It was a bit of a funny thing. I thought it went well with the conspiracy theory we were talking about too. Right? It's like that's like the kind of thing that that parents were thinking was going on.
Do you think like that can happen today in this time in society?
I want to say not as much now since there's historical precedent for it. I want to say no, but also I don't know. There's a lot of very religious people out there too, and there's also a lot of people that aren't like big fans of critical thinking either. So I think so. I would say I wouldn't be too surprised if it happened again, but I mean, who knows?
I think it wouldn't be as strong.
It
won't be as strong.
It probably wouldn't be as strong either.
So a lot of kids were also influenced by this. I mean, we got nothing to do. Like D&D, for example.
Yeah.
Kids were hiding away. If you watch Stranger Things, they also show like a good representation of it. Really, it's hiding in basements, playing the game quietly, on the lookout. But now, like D&D is kind of a big thing recently. Like it started blowing up, and people,
right?
Like there's no way that can happen.
Right, and like also like rock music too, with kind of like the heavy screaming, the intelligible. I saw when I was one of the videos I was watching on the Satanic Panic too was that apparently a lot of I don't know if it was parents specifically, but a lot of parents would try to prove that it was with that it was like promoting Satanism or something like that, because when they played the records in reverse, you would occasionally hear Satan
that happened
in the reverse.
That happened with what? Panda, like Designer? Not Panda. It was Timmy Turner.
And Beyonce.
Yeah.
And Ariana Grande.
Yeah, I think it's happened quite a bit, especially with quite a bit of artists too. It's like you'll just hear some like weird static and kind of sort of not really sounds like
it's just all mental play.
It's definitely mental play. They already. The problem is though that they already have the conclusion in their head, right? And they want somebody, and they're just trying to find any evidence that can connect to the conclusion. But usually it's just like you're just kind of connecting dots, but there's not really a whole lot of like evidence for it, right?
Yeah.
Also another, I think another a movie obviously that comes to mind is the new one, Weapons. Right, yeah, the one where all the children go missing, missing. And so in the movie, obviously all the children go missing one night. Nobody knows what happened. They just disappear. They just run away from their houses to some spot, and so everybody's confused about this, and all the parents are kind of like blaming the teacher because for some reason it was only the kids in her class that actually ran out, and so she's being blamed for it essentially. And so I think this kind of this mob mentality kind of just mirrors I guess what the Satanic Panic was in a way.
I think it's not exactly the same, but I think it's another example of like a moral panic. The whole thing with the rapture, like every 5 years, there's these whole millions of people believing that, they're gonna ascend to heaven. And recently it happened, not even 5 months ago, but it's not the exact same as the Satanic Panic, but it is an example of people believing and buying into and spreading fear based off nothing.
Right. What's also interesting too is that there's there's so many claims, unsubstantiated claims about daycare workers being Satanists and that they're molesting children and stuff like that too. When there's a ton of actual cases of actual popes and priests molesting children too, and it's okay, well, I mean clearly there's some kind of double standard here, right?
Yeah.
You're focusing on a fake problem and while ignoring an actual real problem that I believe was actually going on at this time too, right? There's so many. It's now basically a stereotype for priests now, right? If you're a priest, you probably molesting children. Children, and it's now this massive stereotype. So many jokes on it too, being done with it. All right. Okay, so I think that kind of wraps up everything that I wanted to say about it.
Nothing to say.
Is there anything else? Any final thoughts?
No.
Okay, awesome. Now we'll move on to our final conspiracy theory, my personal favorite one, the QAnon conspiracy theory. This theory poses that a group of rich and powerful social and political elites are a part of a cabal of satanic, cannibalistic child molesters protected by the deep state, and they run a sex trafficking ring, and that Donald Trump is secretly leading the fight against this cabal. Now, it's specifically Donald Trump. Trump is secretly leading the fight.
Bro, this guy is so dumb. There's no.
And so according to Mike Wendling from the BBC, this was on January 6, 2021. QAnon started on October of 2017 as a series of message board posts from sites like 4chan from a user who goes by the name of Q. The user claimed to have a high level of security clearance called Q clearance, and so he was making a bunch of posts just claiming a bunch of I guess nonsense, right? That there's just these sex traffickers and that the government was protecting them somehow. And in 2018, even Fox News hosts such as Sean Hannity and Roseanne spread the news on their social media that there's this cabal of people too. So now we have media personalities getting on it in 2018, and even some Christian pastors began introducing QAnon ideas into their church too. And so churches such as the Omega Kingdom Ministry tried to combine QAnon and Christianity together, these beliefs into one, which is, I would say, not good, actually.
It's not good at all.
I feel like there's a massive problem arises when you now have a conspiracy theory that theory such as this mixed with a belief system like Christianity too, because now QAnon's not like just something. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not like a belief,
Yeah.
right? Or it's kind of like a cult in a way.
It's like a way of life now.
It's a living, yeah.
That's-
Yeah. According to a Pew Research study in September 2020, found that nearly half of Americans had heard of QAnon, and a fifth of them had a positive view on the movement. QAnon forms the basis of support for many Trump voters. So yeah,
So it's like a Republican kind of
this
thing.
is it's classified as a far right conspiracy theory.
Yes.
So all of these pretty much.
Yeah, all of these pretty much, but this one is in many ways kind of similar to the Satanic Panic, too, as it kind of does involve like a cabal of child molesters too. But I think but this one's more of a new version of that conspiracy theory too, and it does build off the Satanic Panic in many ways too. But specifically, Donald Trump though is the one that's implicated.
You can also like bring in the reptilians too. 'cause-
Yeah. I mean, all these conspiracy theories that we've been talking about kind of do coalesce into
Yeah.
one, and I think QAnon kind of does embody a lot of what we've been talking about so far. And so yeah, I mean, do we think Donald Trump is fighting a cabal of sex traffickers?
No shot.
Obviously.
Obviously.
I mean, he's spending most of his time on that new wing, like for the ballerina room. He's doing for the White House.
He's fighting sex traffickers, man. Okay.
Trump fighting sex.
Hey, he's ensuring that we're protected from all the deep state pedophiles. I guess the DMV workers at your local DMV, right, that want to apparently touch your children and sell them.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. I think what's interesting about this though too, I think the reason why people believe in this conspiracy specifically is that we obviously have like cases like the Epstein case, right, or the Diddy case, more recently, right, where it kind of involves like sex trafficking and sex crimes too. Specifically Epstein with like the 15-year-old masseuses or something like that. And I think Diddy was also accused of sexually assaulting minors too. I see a lot of videos of him with like young Justin Bieber as well.
Oh yeah.
Well, stuff like that, and like a lot of people are like theorizing that like he may have done something to Justin Bieber when he was like 12 or something like that. Yeah, I mean the 1,000 bottles of large-sized baby oil doesn't help either. Too. So, yeah, one of the big consequences though of the conspiracy theory is the January 6th insurrection that happened at the Capitol in 2020 election. I'm sure you two probably both know about that one, right?
Yeah,
Where they believe that that it was rigged. That apparently the pedophiles were trying to rig the election because they knew Donald Trump, if he won again, he was gonna eradicate him, even though he didn't do it in his first 4 years anyways. So, but he'll do it in his next 4 years though. So, I don't know how well he's done right now. How many pedophiles he's
Now he's busy starting children.
starving children, yeah. But they're not being molested though, so. And
Lesser of the two evils.
I'm sorry.
Lesser of the two evils.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I mean, so also another South Park episode too actually deals with this QAnon conspiracy directly. It's it's where the kids form a group called Cuties, and they're like this anti-vaccination squad of QAnon supporting children and stuff like that too, and the QAnoners are like kind of like indoctrinating them into this group. So I thought it was a little funny. I thought that entire episode was hilarious, but that was be a bit of a funny mention to do it. Also, in 2018, a man by the name of Matthew Wright blocked the Hoover Dam with a truck. Matthew was armed, and according to Matthew, he was motivated by patriotism. I don't know. I don't know what blocking the Hoover Dam is patriotic about that too, especially since he was brandishing a weapon. I don't know what his goals were. Where he blocked a Hoover Dam and he was brandishing a weapon. I don't know if he assumed that like murdering a bunch of people would have solved anything, or he just wanted to like threaten them. He pled guilty though to the charges of terrorism, so he knew he was committing a terrorism. So,
Just
but
for no reason.
I mean, he said it was for patriotism. He was being a patriot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, right. Let's see. What else? I mean, I just think the whole like the whole idea of like just I feel like there are so many people that would want to like there's so many reporters that would want to like latch on to this to a story like such as big as this as what QAnoners are claiming, and like I feel like they'd want to like report on it too, but there's like nobody that wants anything to do with it though, to like because I feel like if this were true, we would see like a massive story on this coming out too.
Yeah.
Like,
It just feels like an attempt to flip the blame, I guess, because right now with Epstein files, there's like this call to, reveal the list, and because there's people that think that Trump is on the list, and it's like, so he's potentially on the list, and now you're saying that he's actually busy fighting pedophiles. Like, all right, but
right. It was all it was it was like they had so much interest in Epstein, and then all of a sudden, or Trump might be implicated, and now all of a sudden it's just gone. They could care less now. It's like, oh,
yeah,
right.
they do whatever they can to make him seem like some hero.
I
And
also
they put him on a really big pedestal.
yeah, I also find it interesting too. They like the last two conspiracy theories we've been talking about, right, deal with children being harmed, right? Pedophilia, molestation, right? Like these really terrible crimes, and like, and it's weird though too. I mean, I guess I would like there's just such a fixation on just like child abuse with these people.
Because they like to weaponize children. Like,
Right.
children are
The
an
shields of
innocent group of people,
they're,
and
they're,
they,
Yeah.
yeah.
probably I like to call them the shields of politicians, right?
Yeah.
The shield, right? If you want to like avoid any kind of criticism ever, just say it's for the children, or
Yeah.
think about the children, or do you want children to starve? Are you okay with so you're telling me you're okay with the molestation of children, right? Like if you like I feel like if you said anything against like that was like contrary to this conspiracy, you're like, oh, okay, so you're fine with you're fine with people molesting children. Like that's no. I also think like children kind of like mobilize people too. Like there's a reason why we use children as well, is because it mobilizes us to like act without really thinking, kind of like, right? When we hear about like children being molested, it does something to us that like our kind of like very protective instincts kind of come out, and we want to and we don't really without much thinking too, which is why like the QAnon conspiracy theory gained so much popularity too in 2020, because a lot of people heard about it. Even people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a representative from I don't know what state, but she was elected partly due to her belief in QAnon. Too, and it's a very pervasive belief. It can be obviously very dangerous with the insurrection that happened on January 6th in 2020. It's like very very bad. It's very dangerous, right?
But you said about Marjorie Marjorie Taylor Greene being elected based off like because one of her like strong standpoints was her views on QAnon, and I think it kind of ties back to what I said earlier about like public figures and government officials. They take advantage of these people that are mentally ill and just like not that bright or that knowledgeable, and they feed into this propaganda, and they just use it to get for their own gain.
Right.
And I want to say that they don't actually believe in this stuff.
Right.
Like,
It's always weird to like the rich, like it's the rich and powerful. So like how like how do you join, how do you get into this club anyways too, right? And so, and like how do you know like Donald Trump is, he's a billionaire, right? He's one of the richest people on the planet, and you're saying he's somehow not a part of this,
yeah.
right? Right, like is there like an application process you get in, or is it like when I make like my first $100 million, I automatically have like an urge to molest children, or like what's like how is it like everybody is implicated in this too? Because obviously like and it's always focus on the Democrats too, right? It's always people like Barack Obama. They have a really huge fixation with the Clintons too. Clintons are a big one too. There are some Republicans too, like I think Bush is kind of part of it too, but they're kind of like they're more like traditional type Republicans, right? Not really like the more far right MAGA like Trump Republican.
Because there's a difference between Republican and then MAGA Republican.
Yeah, and so yeah, but it's never really like the other billionaire. The apparently conservatives are completely immune from being child molesters ever, right? Even though I think that Matthew Gates, right? He was before Trump got into office, right? He was trying to find somebody to be his, I think, for the Department of Defense, right? He was trying to find his Secretary of Defense guy, right? Before it was, I think it was Matthew Gates, anyways.
Matthew Gates.
Yeah, and he was like, and obviously he was a controversial pick because at the time he's being investigated for having sex with a 17-year-old girl, too. And every time, did you look it up?
It's Matthew Gates.
It's Matthew Gates. Yeah, and so, but like he's obviously not part of the group though. Too. He can't be. He likes Trump, which means he's not against it too. Well, just ignore the part that's 17, right? I remember I keep hearing this clip too of him on Fox News with Tucker Carlson, and he was being interviewed. He's like, and Tucker Carlson asked him a question. He was like, "So you and this 17-year-old girl?" And Matthew Gates immediately said, "You mean 17-year-old woman?" I'm like, it's like not helping your case, bro.
Not at all.
Like you did not need to substantiate it. Like just say like you could have said she was 18 and anything like that. You had to say 17-year-old woman. But yeah, but there are people, but obviously we have people like that are okay with that that apparently Trump or none of the any of the Trump people really seem to want to criticize them. They kind of just want to ignore and brush past it, right? Act like it's not there, and I feel like it's very clearly there's a clear double standard here. So, I think okay. I mean, before we end off, is there anything else we would like to talk about regarding QAnon?
Let's see, I had a question.
Right.
Do you think it's a dangerous extremist movement, or just the internet cult taken too seriously?
It's definitely dangerous.
Wait, sorry, repeat the question again.
Do you think it's a dangerous movement, extremist movement, or just the internet cults taken too seriously?
Oh, I think it's easily a dangerous movement. Yeah, obviously, it's already kind of ingrained itself into our political system, system too. So I think it is a very dangerous movement, especially since there's like no evidence ever
Mhm.
to um to yeah, no. Does anybody like think like how do we think like social media plays into this, right?
I mean, didn't it start off on social media
Well,
or just like on a post?
Yeah, it started
with
off
the
as like
kid?
it started off as like a 4chan post too.
Yeah. So.
To
Um,
it even to yeah, it has it also has like some roots in the Pizzagate conspiracy theory. You guys, yeah,
heard
you've
of
heard of that, too. Yeah, the conspiracy um, where obviously it's similar to this conspiracy theory, but like people thought that like in Washington D.C. there's like some pizza place holding and trafficking children, something like that, and actually a man with like went in there brandishing an AR-15, I believe, like went into that pizza shop like demanding to see the children too. It's yeah, minimum wage workers having to deal with that.
Yeah,
That
it
too.
sucks, bro. I don't know what to say.
There's also I can't think of it right now. Okay. Anyways. All right. Any final thoughts or opinions? Anything?
No. Don't know.
Got nothing?
No.
Okay. Well. So over the past I don't know how long has anybody been keeping
I
time?
think probably like 30 minutes, 35.
30, 40 minutes, I believe. I'm not sure. I wasn't keeping track of time. We've been talking to you about conspiracy theories. My name, for those of you who don't know, my name is Jordan. This is, and I'm joined here by Sahil and Mayana. And so just remember that there's a lot of crazy stuff out there, and use your brain, folks. Okay. And with that, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you.